Hey everyone, so I wanted to talk about one of my 2022 goals, which is to be more disciplined in thought of the way that I perceive my physical body. So this video is going to be all over the place since that's just the way I am. So just try and follow my train of thought because hopefully I will be able to tie it all in together towards the end. So what do I mean by my body is a temple? If you are familiar with the biblical text that says that, then hopefully this will go with that as well. I don't know the rest of the saying for that, but I am aware that that is a nod to the Bible, right? And I'm not sure what other religions say about it, but I would assume it's very similar to that because spiritually, psychically, to me, I see it in the same light. It's all the same. It makes sense to me why that is written the way that it is, right? And so that's where that discipline comes in for me of making sure that I keep that frame of thought. If I'm completely honest, this is something that I've always implemented and always believed since I was a child. I've just become more and more refined of this over the course of my life. Not to say that I didn't struggle with some of the weaknesses that of insecurities and being really hard on myself, like physically, like working out all the time, stuff like that. But again, it's just over the course of years and understanding myself and reevaluating myself that it just kind of naturally worked itself out, okay? And so hopefully what I tell you now, if you have any of those struggles, will help you as well to reframe your thoughts and at least see it from the perspective that I'm able to see things, if at all possible, or at least come to your own conclusions. You don't have to see it the way that I do, right? You don't have to agree with what I say. But anyway, so it's like kind of tying it back where, okay, so then why is this your goal? Why do we want to be more disciplined about it if you don't have any problems? I feel like it grounds me. Like it immediately grounds me and puts everything that I believe into practice in just this switch of my mind, right? Of just perceiving it in the way that everything that I'm going to explain to you. And it just seems like it's the appropriate thing to do for 2022. Like this is just the next step for me. And yeah, I don't know. It felt like the right thing to do. And so that's why I'm doing it. Okay, so admittedly, what I'm about to tell you that I do is rude. I'm fully aware of that. Maybe this would be something else I'm going to work on. Maybe not. This is just, one of my rudeness, I guess. Okay, so I feel like I hear this all the time and I zone out. I zone out every time someone says it because I feel like it's a catchphrase at this point where people are like, we are a spiritual body having a human experience, or we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And then they go on to say something that's like pretty much unrelated to it, even though it's somewhere in the metaphysical or the spiritual realm, right? And I'm like, okay, obviously if you are like spiritual, you're gonna believe that, right? Like obviously the only person that's going to like make any difference to, I feel, is maybe someone who is atheist. They don't really believe in anything at all. I mean, even if you're agnostic, you believe that there's something, you just don't know what, right? So it's like, what are you saying? To me, it feels it's an absence of God, right? It's taking that, it's because every religion is of spirit, right? Naturally, it's of spirit. So it's already known that we are of spirit and that we are just having this human experience. So for you to say that with no other context, to me, is you are branching spirituality away from the very foundation of it, which is God, and putting it as if it's just you. Like you're just a spirit wandering around some spiritual place and placed here on earth. And it's like, what's going on there? What's going on there? So that, again, I'm all over the place. I recognize that. Just follow me here. Think about it later if I'm still not making sense, because sorry. But anyway, so I recognize that, right? On a psychic level, I do see that, of course, because our body is the vessel to bridge our spirit, our soul to this world, right? How do we exist in this world if we do not have the human body? The human body is the one, it's our avatar, right? Like, we need to be able to process foods that are here on earth so that we can survive. We need the water, we need the oxygen, so on and so forth, right? It is the physical vessel to which our soul can connect to some capacity in order to carry out a physical, tangible reality. And so that is kind of where I'm honing in on, because when I do readings, when I talk about, like, if it's a completely blind reading and I'm trying to identify people and I'm accurate to some degree of what this person looks like, what does that mean, right? For me to say, overall, who we are as a person is just a tiny scope of who we are as a soul, is identifying the features to which other people on earth are able to identify them, right? And for me to talk about past lives or parallel lives, whatever, however you want to perceive it, past, present, whatever. The point is I'm identifying this person as this particular way, right? It's a frame of reference. The way that you identify, like if you were doing a reading on me and you can see me, or you don't have to do a reading, but when you look at me, you see me as my identifiers, right? I have olive skin, whatever. So it's like, that is just a frame of reference. It means nothing else, and it doesn't even identify you as a soul, as who you truly, truly are. Your body is not a representation of you. Well, actually, it is a representative, because that's what you're using, but it's not who you are, right? So when I find people, right, identify them is what I'm saying. When I identify them, it is just hallmarks so that we can all come to the same conclusion. Okay, that's it. Okay, we're on the right path. Okay, whatever, or it's the soul trying to tell whoever I'm doing the reading, like, this is who you would know me as. This is what would help you to understand or to remember me, right? This is the association that you have, your frame of reference, right? And when I do readings in general and I have symbols, and that's one of the reasons why it can get confusing, is because I can't always figure out, unless I'm talking to the other person, is this a symbol for me? Is this a symbol for them? Is this really something, or what's going on? Like, where the context is, right? If I'm just not talking to someone. And so they create human symbols, right? Like just like a language. Language is a symbol. Like, they're using that in order to communicate. It's just a means of communicating. Our body is just a means of existing in this physical world, of creating, of experiencing what we have to offer here, to learn our life lessons, which is a whole nother subject, but that's all it is. That's all it is. And so to be so hard on yourself is such a disservice to what is really going on, right? Like, to nitpick yourself, or to exercise to the point of causing yourself pain, right? Or to feed yourself things that are unhealthy for you, that don't allow you to operate at your best, don't allow your vessel to operate at its best, so that you can be here to experience the things that you want, so that you can be connected to your spirit as much as you can, right? Those are all ways to inhibit your spiritual and growth. Your spiritual growth, you need your body here, right? And it's the same thing of like inviting people into your life by physical relations, right? And I'm talking about physical relations that you agree to. This is not ones that you don't agree to. That you agree to, and you're inviting people into your life and into your temple. How is that affecting you spiritually, right? Because again, we are of spirit before we are of flesh. So when you are having a physical relation with someone, there is something spiritually that is also being shared if you are allowing it. That's not, it's different, it's completely different when it's not consensual, okay? So we're keeping to that subject. So that kind of explains everything of like what I'm doing, which is I'm going to continue to speak kindly towards myself and appreciate myself. I'm going to exercise, continuously exercise, but a mindful exercise routine where if it's something that's feeling harsh or painful, like actually causing me more harm, knowingly causing me harm, then I'm not going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing myself, right? But I do actually need to implement more movement into my life. That'll ground myself more. When you're moving around, when you're allowing yourself to be out in nature, it's grounding you more. It's centering yourself, right? Eating nourishing things, taking vitamins, being thankful for who you are, right? And being thankful for this experience. That are other ways that you can show appreciation for yourself. And I do want to mention too of how the spirit, like, it doesn't go away, right? To kind of also reframe it of the spirit. I'm just thinking, okay, I'll tell you what I'm seeing in my head. I'm seeing an image of a pyramid, and this is being shown to me as the temple. The pyramid's the temple. This is what my guardian angels are. I guess this is something that I need to talk more about. So this is the temple, right? It's not my body is my temple. My body is a temple. It is a place of spirituality, right? When you go into the temple, you don't go into a temple saying, oh, this is obsolete plumbing, right? There's dust in the corner. Look at the architectural way that they did this. We don't do this now. Like, why did they do it like that? Whatever. Like, you don't critique it. You go in there with respect. You go in there with honor. You go in there as a human being connecting to the spirit realm, right? And it's, when I clarified it's not my temple, it's because it's not a worship of me. It's a worship of God. It's a worship of my origins, right? And then it shows, I'm being shown like the reflection, the opposite, like that. So here is the human experience. Is the soul's experience, right? We are of spirit, we're of soul, having the human experience. So it's an even reflection. That's what they're showing me. It's an even reflection, like that. and how, sorry, it's just a lot of information that I'm picking up, and I'm trying to figure out how to word it. So it's multiple things that they're wanting to highlight, where when we don't take care of our body, when we don't respect the temple, right? When we allow other entities or beings into the temple, what happens, right? And so when I talk about darker entities, when I talk about how you can have a spiritual possession when you're under the influence of drugs, when you have negative thinking, when you're disrespecting yourself, when you're inviting darker people into your lives and you're sleeping with them, or whatever kind of exchanges that you're having with them, when you're astral projecting, when you're pulling cards and doing all of this, when you're going to all these random people, all of these things, you know, when you're attempting to do all of these vibrational things or whatever, what is that doing? It is moving your spirit outside of your temple. It's causing holes within the temple and within the foundation. And you are denying yourself of the temple. You're pulling yourself out of your body. Your spirit is moving outside of the body. So when you think about how in this world, right, energy is neither created nor destroyed, right? What takes the place of the energetic body, right? Your body is compiled of atoms, right? Compiled of all this stuff. And so what happens when your spirit moves out, but your body is still operating, it's still alive? Something has to take that place. And so that when you leave and you're not supposed to be doing that, then these entities of spirit will come into there, right? So you have to keep your temple sacred. You have to keep it sacred. And by doing the things that I'm saying, is keeping it sacred. Is allowing it to stay firm and strong and structured. And another mention that I seem to talk about is when people pass away, right? So it is just the physical representation of the soul, right? The small fragment of the soul that dissipates, right? It just returns to earth. And so the soul is never lost, right? The soul is not energy. I want you guys to know that. It is separate from energy. In essence, the soul cannot be created nor destroyed, but it is not energy. Energy, and this is across the board of everything. Soul is much, it's above that. It is actually the co-creation of energy. Energy is just a representation in essence of the souls. And so when we also talk about co-creating, that actually is an origin of the co-creator of this universe. We collectively as souls co-created with God to have these multiple realities, multiple physical, tangible ways to experience life, right? That is the origin of co-creation. And not only that, but that trickles down again, just how everything here trickles down, right? And how everything is, it's like a folding inward of experiences in order to realize the whole. You have to understand the tiny bits in order to understand the whole. And then understanding the whole helps you reverse back to understand the tiny bits on an even deeper level. And then you understand everything, which would take a long time. But anyway, so from there, what was I saying? Anyway, you get the point, I think. That's essentially what I wanted to talk about, where for 2022, I want to remember, I want to hone in of not only is my body a temple, but psychically, what do I see, right? This is something I wanted to say. Almost forgot, this is important. To me, it's important for you guys to understand, is when I see sometimes the reincarnation, like why we chose to be here. Yes, if you're a model or whatever, where your beauty standards are obviously helping you carry out your life purpose, it's one thing. But even then, that is not, it's just part of it, right? It's just part of it. But we don't, as a soul, critique ourselves, and we don't, we chose our bodies. We chose who we are. Who you are today. What you look like. Every little teeny tiny bit of you. You knew the range of what you would look like, and you chose your body. You chose it. So by honoring that, by remembering that, and by caring for your body, not in a way of trying to make yourself, put on a performance for others or for yourself. It's about taking care of it, taking care of your vessel so that you can continue to stay here and operate and carry on, in a productive manner. It's to just remind yourself of that, to know that about you, when you compare yourself to other people, that's not of God to compare to others and to feel bad about yourself. That's not honoring yourself. You're not honoring who you are, your purpose, why you're here, if you're looking towards others, wanting what others have, or even if you don't want them and you're looking and saying, I don't like myself, right? Because my struggle in the past was, I'm not a jealous person, but I would feel sad, I can't think of an example, but basically like maybe someone, I'm a slow runner. Well, actually no, I'm a good runner now, but I used to be, compared to other people who were athletes. And I would just jump in and try and run among athletes, and then I had to work up to it. But it's I didn't say, oh, I wish I was them, or why do they have that, or anything like that. It's I wish I could run fast. That would be really nice if I could do, if I could do that. And it would make me sad about myself. I didn't turn it on other people. I turned it on myself. But in that sense, I was cutting myself short, right? I wasn't respecting and valuing and being grateful for me. So that's an okay example. That's not really a very good example, but it's okay. And maybe just always remembering why you chose your body. Why did you choose your body? What lessons in life are you learning? Where are you showing gratitude for the things that you have in your life and the way that you can respect and honor your body? Why are you, right? You don't have to worry about why other people are who they are. Worry about you. Why are you here? What is it that you want? And also, where can you show yourself love? Physically, emotionally, all of that. Because when you also look at it in that sense too, like we all, if you go back to the beginning of like, we all need food, we all need water, whatever, it's like we all operate the same, right? Like we all pretty much operate the same as far as the human being. It's just the differences is how we are perceived, how we look. I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying? I think I'm just kind of trying to clean up all the little corners of everything that I said, but that's pretty much it. That's one of my 2022 goals, is to remind myself of that. And anyway, hope that brought some information to you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.